Welcome to Seymour from the Front Pew podcast, coming to you from the broadcast studio at Seymour First Baptist Church in Seymour, Tennessee, and featuring thoughts and discussions around loving God, loving others, making disciples, and living the life. I am your host, Tiger Brooks, and now on to the podcast. Well, hello world. We are back with the beginning of season 3 of the podcast. Are you adjusting your head?
Looks like Jason's head.
You're loud.
Guess who's back? We are back.
So we've talked about this. You know, we took a hiatus in the summer, lots of things going on, and we thought we were going to bring some sort of resolution to season 2 in some fashion, but basically I guess we just kind of left it with a cliffhanger. But we're starting season 3 now. And so here we are. And so in preparation for this episode, we kind of collaborated offline a little bit, kind of talked through some things. And so this episode is going to be kind of a hybrid of different things that we want to kind of catch people up on and think about moving forward. And so here's the 3 things that we want to hit on. And if I can drive this ship, we'll get there. Okay.
Good luck.
As
We're
you
gonna
know,
get distracted.
as you know, this ship is very
I
difficult.
want to talk about something.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to talk about skeletons. Yeah. Well, this is not the first thing, but
You're already
You're
derailed.
already derailed.
we're already derailed. So it's hilarious though. We were talking in staff meeting the other day about how we
Yes, boys and girls, this is how your church staff spends their staff meeting time.
we want
I
Austin.
wasn't here again. That's what happened.
We want
Which
Austin
means
to
staff meeting
actually.
was 1 hour instead of 4 hours.
This is true. We want Austin to actually grow what hair he has out again so that we can see it. And the way that his hair is, what follicles he has remaining, the way that it is shaped, it will grow into what he lovingly refers to himself as a skullet.
You should Google that if you're going, what in the world is that? Google.
So he's going to have a ring around, this for however long he lets it go, and it probably will be gone by Sunday. But we all just wanted him to do it.
It'd be very close to like Nick Cage circa Con Air.
Yeah, there you go. And so this is a pipe dream, but we really wanted him to grow it out to the degree that he could comb it over, just to see what could happen. And we don't
that's
think that
never
we'll get
gonna
that.
I think shave it off from mid-ear up and keep mid-ear down.
What'd you call that? The neck beard? The back neck
Back
beard?
neck beard.
Oh my goodness, that would be years in the making. Anyway, that's not on tap for today, thankfully. The first thing we're going to talk about in just a second.
I bet AI could generate us some images.
Shelby, get on that.
Please don't.
Anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is kind of an overview of some of the things that we did this summer since we last spoke with you. It's been a busy summer for the church in different areas of our ministries, so we're going to talk through that. And the second thing we're going to get to, so you're going to hang on. The second thing is, what Olympic event would we most likely qualify for if we were actually going to try to qualify for the Olympics? So we'll have some fun with that. And the third thing is just the thought through some philosophical approaches, strategies to re-engaging with people post-summer. We sort of kind of quasi follow a school semester kind of thing because that's just kind of the natural rhythms of most of our families and whatnot. And so we're going to kind of reflect on how we approach that. How do we get people back into the rhythm of coming to church and coming to the things that we do, trying to disciple folks and get them back involved. So we'll talk through some of that. Anyway, let's catch up on some of the things that we talked to. Last time we talked about fireworks and leading up to fireworks, and those things came off. They went off.
Yeah.
The fireworks went off without a hitch. That was fun, well attended, all those kinds of things. We felt like we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, which was just engage with the community and love on the community and have a good time with them. And I think we did.
Yeah. July was full of different kids events, family events, different things like that.
We talked about Center Kid, talked about Centrifuge. Yeah. We've had episodes on both of those.
Right.
And
Great Guatemala trip.
We did. Did we talk about Guatemala? We did.
No, not really. No.
Okay. So let's reflect on that just a little bit. We had 2 major missions emphasis. We did Guatemala and we did our Serve Seymour. And I think we could talk through both of those. This was your Guatemala trip that you led. So kind of tell us in a nutshell, how'd that go?
Yeah, so it went really, really well. We took 17 from the church, and we did, basically I would say we did 3 different things. We did food bags, water filters, kind of a staple on almost all of our trips over there that we do that. And of course, those allow us to go into homes and do home visits and share the gospel, which is always a very fruitful time. But then on top of that, we did a medical clinic at the church, and then we also went into some schools and did some backyard Bible club, VBS kind of things with some of the schools, which is always a great time to engage the kids there and just have a lot of fun with them. But the medical clinic, we saw, I believe, 160 came through the medical clinic. Total between all of our things, we saw 14 salvations, and I can't remember what the number was. I think it was, I texted you guys right after. I think it was 8 or 9 of those 14 actually showed up to church that next Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Which was really kind of cool to see them there. And so it was just it was a really good trip, really, really great trip, as they always are. Just a blessing. It's really become, and Austin, I think you can speak to this too, and we'll continue even in this next one, that it has fully become, usually you go on these mission trips and you're doing what you're doing, but now there's a whole different element to the way our trips are working and the way our partnership is working, that it's almost a family reunion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That we're going back and we're seeing, folks that we've gotten close to, being there so many times, and just have those connections, and we're friends with them on Facebook, and so we converse even throughout the year. And so is it like Pastor Joel, him and his wife just had a little baby girl, and so we were able to go and see her and hold her, and it was kind of like, we just engaging with long lost family again, and so it's a blessing just to be there. And church is doing really well. They're doing a lot of progress on their building, and but even beyond that, the establishment of the way things have taken place in that community, and the way God is bringing about the fruitfulness of that community throughout the life of that church is beginning to be able to be seen. It's very obvious.
Yeah.
In that, so it's a really good time.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be appropriate to kind of talk about one coming up at this point. Would be we're excited about that. 17 of us are going as well. Yep. Kind of a different concentration of people, a lot more guys than gals.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But
that's an interesting dynamic too, though, because it's very unusual. I mean, in my, I guess 16 years of carrying, no longer than 18 years of carrying teams, it is usually the reverse.
Yeah.
50-50 at best, and usually, 60, 80% women and
I
lower
think that
men.
The reason for that probably is because we said from the pulpit, don't you want to hang out with Tiger and Austin?
That's true. So
No women
I'm pretty sure women were like,
they head for the hills. They head for the
That'd
hills.
be a hard pass.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about us, but
It says a lot.
a bunch of hairy guys want to go with us.
Yeah, and a cool dynamic with that, and y'all may have been going to get in that, is that we've got basically a whole men's D group going.
Yeah.
One or two.
Save for one person.
Yeah, one or two decided early that they wanted to go and spoke to their D group about it and was excited about it. And in essence, the whole D group committed to going and being a part of that. Man, what a way to disciple one another and encourage one another by doing a trip like that together. And so, I love that. Even, Jason, you were talking about, that it's become like family, and some of that's because going down multiple times with the same people. A lot of it is just the way they view us while we're there. We are not doing work for them. We are doing work with them.
Yep.
there is almost never a time where our team goes and does something away from the church members being a part of. And it reminds me of Romans chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "For I very much want to see you so that I may impart to you some spiritual gift to strengthen you." And what I love in that is I think our team members are strengthened, even though we are going down to try to strengthen and work with them. And so really, really, to me, what we're doing in Guatemala is a fulfillment of what we have wanted in a partnership missions group. And I'm so excited about how all of it is working.
Yeah. And I'll let you talk through this, but we had our meeting the other day, kind of our preliminary meeting. I have another one, and then we take off in September. But I was encouraged that at least 5 or 6 of those folks have never been on a trip like this.
Yep.
And I mean, that's just, that's unusual as well. Usually you got 1 or 2. But I think both Austin and I are looking forward to just taking in their reactions of that, because it's such a sweet thing that happens when you go on mission like this. But anyway, you want to elaborate about some of the things we'll be able to do that's different than trips in the past?
Well, I think before I even get to that, I would make a point. Tiger brought it up, not only now, but also in our meeting last Monday night. And I kind of elaborated upon it. And I think it's something that you guys and anybody who's led a mission trip maybe can kind of understand, but I would say it as an encouragement to anybody who's thought about it. One of the things that's most exciting is you sit in that first meeting and everybody kind of introduces themselves. You find out who's never been on mission trip, who's been on mission trips but not out of the country, who's barely ever flown, people who have been involved in missions for years, but this is the first time they'll do this one. And as somebody who has led a bunch of mission trips, I could, as people were talking, I could see in my mind's eye what's going to happen while we're there. I know what's going to happen to that person. I can see, as long as they are open to the Holy Spirit, that I can almost guarantee what's going to happen in individuals' lives. And that is really exciting and really cool. And so I'd say that, again, I think that's something that only if you've led, and if you've led multiple times, you can see that in people, maybe. But for people who have thought about it, that life change, or if you've been involved in other mission stuff, but never been to Guatemala, never been on one of these kinds of trips, or whatever it may be, or even if you've been, and I think that's the delineation, maybe going back to what Jason said, on mission trips, as opposed to on mission trips that are partnership oriented. It is a different ball game. And the long-term love, I think back to trips that I've gone where you have a ministry where you go back and you see the same maybe leaders, or you see the same couple of people, or you stay at the same camp, so you build some kind of relationship there over the course of however many years. But this is just very different because we're 3 years into a 5-year partnership. You're seeing salvations, which is awesome. So don't hear me wrong in that. But you're also seeing a need for discipleship to grow in your faith. And so it's not just come in, proclaim the gospel, and leave. It's come in, proclaim the gospel, see people saved, and then set them on the road to discipleship, because that's what has been missing from missions pictures for a very long time. And a lot of the issue that I have always had, and this is just getting off in the weeds, with the go proclaim evangelism, but don't be connected to a local church. You're not setting people up to grow as disciples, and their faith is going to be so shallow. And so part of going back to what I originally said, just if you've been thinking about missions, you got to do it. You can't figure out how or how to pay for it or how to take the time. You just got to find a way, because as a leader, I can see when you finally say, I'm going to do it, how that road is going to end for you. And then I would say going back to kind of where we're going with this next trip is it's building on what Jason just did with his team. And that's trying to figure out how to disciple these folks that are a lot of new believers, and even the ones who maybe have been believers for a while, but they haven't really gotten in deep into their faith. And so Tiger's leading this kind of 4-session seminar on the kind of the basics of the faith and how to grow as a disciple, how to really get into your Bible. We're giving out Bibles. I asked Hoel, so they count membership by adults, not by kids. So like their membership has grown from about 25 to in the 60s over the last 3 years. And again, that's not even an attendance representation. That is fully invested members, which looks a little different. So worship attendance they're packing out that room that they have, which is really cool. But anyway, I asked him how many members don't have a Bible. Of the 60 some odd members, 25 don't have a Bible. It's crazy.
Right.
So how do you expect them to be growing in the Word if they don't even have the Word?
How to read their Bible if they don't have a Bible.
Right. They don't have their Bible. And
so hopefully we're resolving that.
Yeah, we're taking down. And the question was asked, like, how many people can actually read? Well, that's why we also are going to be working with them on how to get the app so you can listen to the Bible and stuff like that. And so it's just getting people in the Word and helping them grow because, if our partnership ends after year 5, then we need to not just be leaving them high and dry. They need to be self-sustaining by that point. And so anyway, that's kind of where we're going with this next trip.
Yeah.
Very good.
Real quick, Serve Seymour had a good turnout. If you don't know what that is, that's basically we sign a bunch of people up and we partner with a lot of different schools and organizations around our community, nonprofits, other ministries, other organizations that we can feel like we have an opportunity to serve them on 2 days, Friday and Saturday. And we did that a couple of weeks ago, had a great turnout and really impacted a lot of the schools around us. And I thought it was a good day. I think
it was. And I'd say to what I said to the leaders, I'd say to anybody listening, if you were involved in Serve Seymour or you thought about it and didn't come or whatever, make a point to be there next year. We ask you to take Friday off. And I know that a lot of people, that's kind of hard and whatnot, but what we're trying to get you is an understanding of missions on a very smaller scale. And so as opposed to having to take a week off for Guatemala or 4 days off to go to Cincinnati, take 1 day off and come be with us. And the impact that we have, you do have some impact, personal one-on-one relationships in that week. It's going to help you grow with some brothers and sisters in our church. But more than anything, it is getting our community to recognize what we're doing, that we care about them and we love them. And then we do that through the schools, through TKA, through some of the not-for-profits in the area. And I go back to the dividends that pays is not necessarily in that 36-hour window.
Yeah.
What happens is that you don't know as you go to Serve Seymour and the team with me moving rocks at the primary school. They don't see the benefit of that. Maybe they don't see the payoff. But when we host the kindergarten graduation and we have, 1,000 people in here, and the principal of the primary school stands up and says to all those people who are in our building, this church cares and cares a lot.
Yeah.
Y'all don't recognize it, but they're out there every year moving rocks. That's how it pays off.
Yep.
And it gets those 1,000 people in the room to go, maybe I should check this out.
Yeah.
And that's the purpose of Seymour.
Well, and even the relationships that we're able to have throughout the year following that.
Right.
Like with the principals, with the teachers, and a lot of times now we've been doing this 3 years now, and most of the principals and some of the teachers have my number. And throughout the year, I will get texts and say, hey, we know you did this in the summer, but I've got this need now. Can you help? Yes, we're coming.
Yep.
When can we do this? And so it pays out throughout the rest of the year. That is something that a lot of people don't see.
Right.
So it is an incredible blessing to be able to serve in that capacity.
Yeah. And the other thing, I guess, forgot to mention, what we fed all the teachers around us.
Yeah.
Every teacher within a stone's throw of the church was invited to come, and we fed them lunch and just loved on them, prayed for them, prayed with them. They shared their prayer requests with us and all kinds of stuff. And it really, like, for instance, we fed the Seymour area, Sevier County Seymour teachers. And we went over there the next day and then prayed. 2 days later, maybe. I can't remember what it was.
The cool thing was, though, the same day was orientation.
Yeah.
And so I was in at least the primary and the intermediate school. And it was, I even told Corey this when he got back that, he wasn't able to be at the Seymour one, but The cool thing was it's like in the morning you were on our turf, in the evening we were on your turf, and it was almost this connection of, hey, thank you, we appreciate it, but I was able to go on your turf and say thank you, we appreciate you, and so it was it was a really cool dynamic. And then I think it was 2 days later we were able to go and have a time of prayer at the intermediate school, and so just a blessing,
and
across the board.
I would say, hear us in speaking about all this too, is that our goal is relationship build with all that. And it didn't happen. It hadn't happened in one Serve Seymour. All right. So I think about the Boys and Girls Club. We've served them the last 2 years, but last year was, there was a little leeriness about us coming. And so, there were some
had to check us out.
There were some restrictions, and we gladly abided by them.
Yeah.
It was just our crew that went in. They didn't have interaction with anybody else really. We went over, we did a little, and this year that expanded. And we're building a relationship there with the director and with the organization, and that's our goal, is for them to understand that we care and that we're here to help. And we've even the teacher luncheons and those types of things, we've been able to kind of expand that out, and we were able to serve breakfast to Prospect, and we've not done that before, and excited to get to do that. And we really want our people to understand, and our communities to understand that we're here to help serve and be a resource and to meet needs in our community. And we do that because Christ loves us, cares for us, and we want them to be able to see that through us and understand that for themselves too. And so that is the drive behind those things. So, yeah. All right. Next topic.
I should have fast forwarded, but this was last minute. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall entertain the thoughts of what Olympic sports
And there's so
that
many
the
directions
four of
this could
us
go.
might qualify for in the 2028 Olympic Games in Los
2028,
Angeles.
so I'm even 4 years older than I am now.
Yes.
Now that's the hard part, because
I
there's
think we should go back to the 2008 Olympics or something.
The
there's
1988 Olympic
there are
Games when
sports
I was in my
close
prime.
to the 28 that they didn't have this year. So
Yeah.
there's,
And it'll be
they're
different in
eliminating,
LA.
like they're getting rid of breakdancing. What the world, man?
Yay!
That's exactly, you stole my thunder, because I mean, if breakdancing was still in, that would be me.
Yeah.
But they did away with it.
I would like to
Ray
see
Gun just
that.
shot it.
I would like to see you
Listen,
break dance.
son,
Son.
you've never seen popping and locking like this guy.
It's going to pop and lock right out.
A bunch of locking.
We're gonna bust out of this
Yeah,
place.
much more locking than pop. I would like to see if they were Jason with your youthhood, and I know your taste in music. Not maybe break
Hood
dancing.
being the
Hood.
appropriate
Instead
term.
of break dancing, if it was like crumping, you might would make crumping. Do you remember crumping?
Yeah.
You probably would have done that with your baggy jeans and
I'm not
whatnot.
gonna talk about what I did.
All I know is I sat there
Crip walking.
I sat
Crip
there
walking.
watching primetime Olympics, and going through my head is, for Austin, none of these are a sport.
Yeah, so we had that same
I
conversation.
mean,
Yeah.
nothing. The whole first week is swimming. The whole second week is track and field. None of
Nothing
those are
is a sport.
sports.
We had the same
Basketball was
conversation.
there.
Yeah, but
And
it's
water polo.
And soccer.
water polo was amazing.
Water polo was surprised.
impressive.
So the first day, I woke up that Saturday morning and I walked down and I put on the Olympics. It was water polo. Leah came downstairs, and by the end of the first half, Leah was screaming at the TV.
I love it.
And she didn't miss another women's water polo match. She was
It is so
all in.
It
And
is so
We
good.
had never watched water
The
polo
endurance that they have.
yeah,
is
it's amazing.
It is
before.
amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's amazing.
That was something.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about all that. Like, I mean, my sport in high school was swimming. Like,
Yeah.
but I have no concept or thought that I could have ever been an Olympic swimmer. I mean, like I know you mentioned triathlon for Austin or whatever. I mean, but doing that sport and then seeing what they do and how much faster,
Right.
like, there's just no concept.
No.
Now, though, give me 6 months and time to put together a handball team
Oh yeah,
We can go compete with.
we could do that.
We can go, we might be able to put a First Baptist handball team together,
We could do
and
that.
we might be able to compete.
Yep.
I didn't watch any of handball.
Yeah, I
could
didn't
see
either,
that.
but I saw how it works, and I'm thinking,
We could do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
We could.
I definitely think we could.
We've talked about it before, but I think we also could create a fairly decent curling team. For the winter.
there are plans for
winter,
that.
Yeah, we're gonna have
We
to.
need to try.
It needs to be a staff outing.
We need to
got
be.
it.
There needs to
September.
be video of this.
Yes. I want to do that.
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, there is a for those that don't know, there is a Knoxville curling training or whatever,
Oh,
and
this is
so
gonna be fun.
yeah,
We need to do the next staff outing needs to be private lessons with curling people.
oh my word,
And we go out there and
not sure we can afford the hospital bills.
capture it all.
I am 100% growing a mustache and wearing really stretchy pants.
There we go.
Yeah. Here's your hair.
The only person that I know that has gone to do it had a very serious injury before they left.
Oh, that's foreboding.
Yeah.
All right, let's
You are
go.
on ice. I mean,
Let's
So
go
I read,
around.
I
Let's
read
go
your
around.
thing wrong, though. I was thinking, which one would I want to do?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
which
that's all
one
right.
would
Answer
I
it that
We'll,
way.
we'll
Answer it
do
that way.
really quick. We'll do both. You just say which one
don't
would
do
you
anything
think
quick.
most likely you would be the closest to being able to do, regardless of whether you want to.
All right.
And then
Which one
I would,
would I want
I would
to do?
totally want to do that.
Yeah. So if I was, I mean, I wouldn't see myself qualifying for any of these things.
Right.
But if I was,
None of
if,
us
if it's the
assume
most likely, it would have to be the shooting after the turkey.
Oh,
the dude from Turkey.
Yeah.
he gave everybody hope.
Yeah, I got hope in that. I could do it. That's the only one that I'm like, okay, if I have a chance of qualifying, it's probably the shooting.
I hadn't thought about that, but that's probably true.
Oh yeah,
Because yeah,
yeah.
I don't have to wear
read
the
his
special eye
backstory.
things.
It's a little scary.
I know.
So anyway,
Now,
He's
what
gotta
would
be
you
an
want to
assassin.
do? Is that what you want to do?
No, I wouldn't want to do shooting. That doesn't look. Yeah, no. I don't know which one I would want to do though.
In your fantasies, Jason would be the gold medalist in.
The one that I had the most fun watching was rugby.
oh, it was
Okay.
fun. The rugby sevens
That
was
was
fun.
awesome. But my gosh, that is brutal.
Yeah, it's a lot of running.
But it was brutal though. Oh man, it was crazy. But that would be cool to play.
Yeah. So for me, joking about it, but yeah, since breakdancing is off the table now, it's no longer going to be an Olympic sport. I didn't know it was anyway, but it was ridiculous. Anyway, obviously, I don't have the body shape and carriage for running
Carriage.
in any fashion, shape, form, or fashion. I would probably be closest to actually like training and could probably throw the shot put
I was
Yeah.
shot put's what I was
fairly
gonna say.
well because I mean,
What
that's
if you and I did synchronized diving?
the idea if they had a division of the diving in which it was make the biggest splash, there would be absolutely no question. Okay, but when those dudes like go in the water and you can't even there's not a drip, it's like how do they even do that? Because I can displace some water. So that's probably not going to be me. Anyway, all right. Corey's
Which
already
one would you wanna do?
you alluded to what I want to do.
In your fantasy.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it makes most sense. I think probably shot put is probably the thing that makes the most sense in my mind. But yeah, that's anything else. Anything that involves a lot of running.
You're out.
I'm out. Yeah, it's not gonna. That's not me.
I think the handball stuff's. I mean, like
I would
a
be down for
possibility.
that. I would
mean, like-
love to do something like that.
I mean, like, yeah. Anyway, but
Yeah.
want to? I don't know.
if they had a,
If I think about the want to, I don't want to do something where I'm done
pickleball comes
early
in,
and just
I
get
mean-
to enjoy the Olympics the rest of the time, like Snoop Dogg did. I mean, like he was at everything.
I was jealous. I really was.
So-
I mean,
Did you see the handoff
no,
to L.A.?
yeah.
Man,
Tom
you want
Cruise.
to talk about me dancing? Well, not just him. Like so, after
No, I
Tom
mean,
Cruise, they went to
They went
Snoop Dogg
Snoop and Dr. Dre was in
Well,
L.A.
so Megan loves the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and so Red Hot Chili
does
Peppers
Leah.
performed, and so we're sitting there watching Red Hot Chili Peppers, and she's like, "Yeah, you're not into this." I was like, "No, not really. Like, they don't do much for me." And then Snoop Dogg
changed.
got going, and Dr. Dre came out, and I did a little dance in my living room. Like that was awesome. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's me right there.
They're gonna bring back
I don't
the
know.
hologram of Tupac.
Hey, I'm up.
I just love I outside of all the drama and political stuff with opening ceremonies. I love the
Yeah,
competition.
it's fun.
I love the ideas of countries competing in something like this. And
Yeah.
so I have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah.
All right. So you sort of already said swimming. Do you think that would be the one that?
Yeah, I've got I would love that. Like, I think it would have been incredible to be one,
Yeah.
but no real reality that.
Well, none of us think that it's reality, but I mean, the thing that we grow up and we we're passionate about, that would probably be the thing that's closest.
Yeah, that'd be it. So cool. And I told some people that it's like Caleb in high school was a really good swimmer up until the point we moved here, and then they really dropped it all or worse. But he swam with one of the Olympians this year, the Walsh sisters.
Oh, yeah.
Gretchen and Alex were obviously not with, as in like on the same team, but at the same pools, at the same meets. Stuck his foot in his mouth one time with her right beside him. So anyway, because she's really tall, and he was like, "Man, did you see that girl? She's really tall." Looked over, and she was right there. So anyway, anyway, they've always been incredible, and it's just they've always been at a different level, and it's amazing to see. These athletes, like what they really are, like how much they are bigger, better, faster, all that type of stuff. So
Somebody made the statement. It'd be funny if in all of those races they just stuck some normal person out there and let them just
See the
so that you could see.
average
The
Joe.
gap, yeah. And running as the average Joe in this. Here's Ned from New York.
I did last week I swam my fastest mile that I have since I started clocking my mile in non-open water in the pool.
I've probably cumulatively in my entire life not swam a mile.
Well, I swim a mile every week. But
I'm guessing in the 30 to 35 mile a minute
20,
range.
29 minutes
That's
is
pretty
what
quick.
I did. And I was pretty proud of that, especially since I didn't do any flip turns, which would have shaved another minute or two off. But anyway, and then the Olympics are doing a mile in.
Katie Ledecky swam it in 14 something.
Yeah. I mean, it's that's twice as, and it's the best I've ever done.
Yeah.
And I'm in the pool once a week. So
Anyway,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Mine, triathlons I've been doing triathlons. I'd have no qualms that I could ever compete at that level. But I think if I would try to do something, it would just be the biking. I've always loved biking, and was halfway decent at one point.
But which one? Because there's a lot of them.
It would just be the road race. And I don't know if you watched the road race. I figured
I did, yeah.
The
women's, they were
won-
falling everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it
was raining.
Rain.
The men's road race, the dude that won crossed the finish line, got off his bike, turned it sideways, flexed, and there was still nobody in the background. And it was awesome. He won by like a minute and a half.
It was like the shot of the Olympics is right under the Eiffel Tower.
Belgium guy, right on there. It was incredible.
Yeah.
So that would be. I've always loved that. But swimming would also be fun. I'm not built like a swimmer. I enjoy it, but it's the thing. If you've never swam, is you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And so it's just you and your thoughts.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of nice, I would think, to.
And as loud as it gets in there, you really still don't hear anything. And
Just
so,
sloshing.
Well, they have not only are they in the water, underwater most of the time, they have like 2 or 3 caps on.
Yeah.
And so it really is probably a lot of solid.
So I know you can see your competitors and stuff, but for the most part, it's you against you.
Yeah.
And I have found that I enjoy that much more than I do
the cycling would be much the same way. I mean,
yes,
yeah.
Especially if you're pulling out of the pack.
Yeah, and you don't. I mean, honestly, you may have people on the side of the road, but you're not going to really hear them. You may kind of get a glimpse of them, see them, but you're
flying.
You're flying. You're moving. So
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
Fun.
I do think it was pretty the sport. What I enjoyed watching the most of the whole thing was the women's rugby.
Oh yeah,
It was. I mean, it was. We've never won a medal in rugby. And they win the bronze, and the way they won
the way they won at the end.
Awesome. It was super exciting. I don't know if you saw though, there was a donor that after they won that, she turned around and she donated $4 million to the women's rugby program for the sake of building them for the next Olympics.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Which is just really, it was really neat to see how that kind of came together, and it was just pretty cool.
Several favorite moments, like the men's basketball semifinal game.
Yep.
Was just really, really cool. Seeing Steph and LeBron and Durant really just kind of take it on their shoulders was really, really cool. And lots of
Women's soccer coming back to form was really fun to watch, and it was enjoyed it, a lot of it.
Lots of different comeback wins.
And I liked the breakdancing.
Yeah.
The gold medal matches, those were fun to watch. I mean,
I didn't watch that.
they were a lot of fun.
All I
It's not a-
saw,
it is
all I
not
saw
an
was
Olympic
the
sport.
thing that everybody saw.
Yeah.
It should not be an Olympic
Reagan.
sport, should not be in there. But it was pretty neat to watch. The ones that were good.
Yeah. She sort of soured everybody on it, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think we're going to get to our third topic. We'll save that for another podcast episode because we are over time.
Okay,
But,
so then if here's your last question. If you could add a sport to the Olympics, what sport would it be?
well, I'm afraid to say anything because you're just going to say it's not a sport. So
Okay, if you could add an activity to the Olympics, what activity would you add?
baseball.
Well, supposedly they're
I
adding
mean,
baseball.
why is
taking it-
baseball not?
Because it is up to the home country.
It's up to the
and
home
there's no
country.
baseball fields in France, evidently, or something.
So it's coming back in L.A.
Jeez.
And the one sport that I would
talked
add-
about that this week. I'm interested to know if they're going to break the major league season so that the major league players can
Yeah.
play.
That'll be interesting to find out.
Because
That's what
That'll be so much fun.
WNBA does. The WNBA
Yeah.
breaks.
Oh,
the
it's you and I
season
talking about
for
it.
the
Yeah.
Olympics.
I would love to see
In Winter Olympics, hockey does the same thing.
Yep.
Or has. They may not do it every year, but they have before.
Yeah.
I told Jason, if you've never watched if you're a baseball fan, the World Baseball Classic is the Olympics for baseball.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun to watch. So
It would be cool to see
It'd be
them do
cool
that,
to see
yeah.
in the Olympics. Yeah.
So I would say lacrosse because I love watching lacrosse, but they're bringing that to LA.
So I had thought the same thing when I saw like field hockey, and I thought I think lacrosse fits this better
does.
than
Yeah, but they are bringing lacrosse
Do
to
other
LA.
countries play a lot of lacrosse?
I don't know.
So there's one that I'm surprised is not. Okay, so because I love American football, but it's really American football. Like it's not a world sport. But cricket is a pretty big world sport that we don't play here in the U.S.
Yeah.
And I'm a little surprised that it is not an Olympic
Coming
sport.
to 28.
It is.
Cricket
That's
is going to
funny.
be played
Okay.
in 28.
Yeah.
So there was 5 new sports coming to the 5 new it added to the 28 Olympics: cricket, lacrosse, squash,
Fun.
baseball.
Pickleball.
No, it wasn't
Not
pickleball.
yet.
I don't
but
remember
bet
what
it comes
Pickleball needs
eventually.
to
I don't remember what
It
the
will
fifth
come
one
eventually.
was, but yeah. So those are all coming to the 28 Olympics.
Things you thought you'd never learn on a church podcast.
Yeah.
Sports that are coming to the future Olympics.
Okay, what else would y'all add?
What would we want?
Man, that was a couple different.
That's all it.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. I think we've said every sport.
Activity. Every activity.
Pickleball, I've grown to enjoy and would welcome that. I think that it would be in.
And I know it's huge here in the U.S. I don't know if it's huge other places. That would be the other.
Yeah, I don't know.
again,
It's growing.
Yeah.
I think it's growing.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Badminton is interesting to watch, though.
Mhm.
The way they hit
And table tennis. My gosh.
Oh yes, that's
Those guys
incredible.
are.
Okay, so I mean, this is really an aside, but I saw this thing that talked about the sports that you participate in that add the most years to your life, and badminton was number 1. How in the world? I mean, like,
Interesting.
yeah, but swimming was like number 4 or 5. But yeah. Anyway, it was
Because you could drown.
I guess, but like,
It brings the
I
average.
don't see
down.
badminton as helping me get into shape. I
No.
don't. Anyway, so who knows?
Yeah.
It was interesting.
All right. That's going to do it for season 3, episode 1 of Seymour from the Front Pew podcast. So we thank you as always for tuning in. And we hope to see you and hear you and find you here somewhere in the very near future as we contemplate new episodes. You can come up and tell us what you'd like to hear about. And thanks again for listening. As always, let's tell them bye, fellas.
See ya.
Bye, fellas.
Thank you for listening to Seymour from the Front Pew. Our sole desire for this podcast is to glorify God by educating and encouraging His body. If you would like to learn more about anything you've heard today,
feel free to reach out by email at staff@seymourfbc.org or by visiting our website at seymourfbc.org. If you're located near our community and do not have a church home, come worship with us at 10:15 a.m. on Sunday morning. Until then, we pray God's richest blessings on you and yours as you love God, love others, make disciples, and live the life.